All right, Brad Gillie, we're looking at 2024. Is there something that you want to see transpire? Not necessarily you think is going to happen, but something you'd really like to see happen or want?
Yeah, I want to see a natural rivalry. Now, there's a difference between a feud and a rivalry. Right now, Joey Logano and Ty Gibbs are having a feud. That's not a rivalry. A rivalry are two competitive drivers trading wins back and forth. And maybe they're not trading wins, but let's just say, I don't know, let's say it's Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney. And those two are the ones that are perpetually running up front, and those two end up winning the most races. Just something on the racetrack where we're talking about a couple of people who are always fighting it out week in and week out. And to me, a natural rivalry is something that we've been missing in the sport for a long, long time.
Now, bravo to that. We have not had one, it feels like, in forever. We'll see if that can start brewing in this upcoming season. Jeff Hammond, you got something you're thinking about that you'd really pull and like to see happen?
I would love to see us be in a situation with everything that changed during the off season with the manufacturers and these new noses coming in, as far as Ford and Toyota are concerned, that we don't have to listen to that. These cars are not good at this racetrack. This car is not balanced here at the short tracks. And here, all this, my car is not good on super speedway. I hope we finally can get these things to where everybody's good with just racing and not talking about them. I mean, I don't want to have that becoming a storyline early on, because everybody worked really hard during the off season to try to once again level that playing field and make everybody competitive.
Good deal.
And in that same vein, I had something else written down, but as you were talking, I thought, you know what I don't want to hear this year? I don't want to hear about how bad the short tracks are. Yeah. I hope the package, the new rules that NASCAR came out with turns things around at Bristol and Richmond and Martinsville, because those are tracks that are steeped in NASCAR tradition and history, and ones that fans love to go to, and we want to put on good races and good product there. And so I hope we can get back to that.
And might I add, the one race that I was really excited about being at and thinking we were going to see a great show was the All-Star
North
event.
Wilkesboro,
I mean, I know that Kyle Larson, he couldn't help himself. He had that good a car, but it really stunk up the show.
And he started in the back.
He did.
He had to start in the back, and then by lap 20, he kind of knew, okay, this thing's done. I mean, he made that quicker work. So you got to applaud him.
Yeah.
Some was the package, but you got to give him a lot of credit. I'm gonna tag onto this one, and I'm already late, but I'm going to qualify this. During the regular season and the playoffs, I'd love to see us be able to get through without a rain out. We've already had one for the exhibition race, the LA Coliseum, when they had to race a day early. They are such a disruption to absolutely everyone, not just the race fan that has to figure out how they can sneak around at work and watch it on their phone, or where am I going to be to listen to the race broadcast. But everybody loses during a rainout. The track loses because they have to restaff for another day when all of the people are not going to be there. So they're losing money right off the bat. The race teams take a big hit because it's another extra day of travel. Travel is expensive, folks. Costs a lot of money to take race teams and race officials and everybody else to the racetracks. Last year, Brad, PRN alone, 3 rainouts. We had to stay over in New England, and I love New Hampshire. Extra time in Dover. The casino got more of our money. And then we got rained out here in Charlotte. It's hard on everybody in the sport.
It really is. And I mean, the Charlotte was a double whammy because the Xfinity race had so much trouble getting started. And we actually had to start it and then run the Coca-Cola 600, then finish it. It was just a tough thing to see last year. But I agree with you. For the race fans and for everyone involved, man, if we could get these races off as close to on time, or let's just get greedy and say on time, for 37 more weeks this year, that will be amazing.
I agree. I had written down, as part of my preparation for the show, one of the things I wanted to see was the Chicago street race unencumbered from, weather, because that was such a big deal. It was such a big event that NASCAR put on last year. And unfortunately, the race itself put on a great show once we were able to get it in, but everything leading up to it just had a kind of a negative tone, and I'd love to see what that event can produce when you don't have, that dark cloud over top, Literally, yeah.
And Jeff, it is, and I mentioned the race teams, and you've been there, done that, packed up. It's a tremendous burden, and not only does it affect you for that race, but the next race when you lose 48 hours of prep time to get ready to go wherever you're headed next.
It's a killer, Doug. I mean, I think the worst thing about being at a racetrack is the one with rain on it. I mean, it doesn't matter when it is or why it is. When it interrupts the flow and the preparation that goes into trying to run a precise season without it being disrupted, that's the first thing that you think of is what can really derail this train? Rain. And we're already having to be extra prepared because of it.
So let's go to Daytona, drop the green flag and the checkered flag at about the right time and get the season started.